Fallout 4, and just hearing the name Fallout brings joy and the excitement for adventure and mystery to just about any gamer out there. By now, the first couple of DLCs have been released for Fallout, including their first very large expansion, Far Harbor, and I just finished up playing it, so I figured I would let you guys know what I think of it. So, this isn't going to be a review of Fallout itself. We all know Fallout is great, it's amazing, you guys all know the gameplay, the mechanics. Fallout 4, as awesome as it was, I'm not really going to get into it. Some of the more hardcore Fallout players may have felt there were a little bit of shortcomings with certain aspects of the game. Maybe it's RPG elements a little bit with legendary weapons and armor, and disliking the new build-a-town system or whatnot. But what I'm going to do here is just tell you if the new DLC is worth it or not, in my opinion. Now, I have got all the DLCs. I'll start out by saying I was not thrilled with the original two. This one cost $24.99, this expansion. The Mechanist DLC that came out, I believe, was $9.99, and then the expansion to the building programs and taming animals was an additional $4.99. Honestly, I really think that at least the building one should have been free DLC. You know, it's nice once in a while for a company to give the gamers a little bit of free extra content after purchasing the game. We could always look at The Witcher as a great example of providing the players with additional free content. The first DLC for $9.99 was a short quest line. I think just the main aspect of it was to get the new customizable robot companion. And I mean, it was cool, it was alright. Was it worth $9.99? I don't really think so. I think that and the second DLC should have been free. But, so, this is the first large expansion. It's a new area. It's called Far Harbor. Thankfully, there is going to be more expansions. I was under the impression a few months back that Fallout games usually just do 3 to 4 DLC releases and they're done. I thought that this was the final one and that the Mechanist and the building one and then Far Harbor was going to be all we were going to get, and I was pretty frustrated, but it turns out, doing a little more digging, that this is just one of more expansions that are later to come. First thing everyone wants to know is, what's the size of it? It's a brand new area. You get there, just like most of the other DLCs, I believe it's a radio signal telling you to go there. This is going to prompt a quest. Then you take a boat, you go north to Maine, and you are in an entire new world. It's large. It has more than enough areas to explore. I am very happy with the size of the DLC, just from the maps. You want to explore it. It's not boring. It actually, kind of the ambience of the island you're on and the story reminds me a little bit of that Stephen King movie, The Mist, or The Fog. I don't know, these two movies came out around the same time. The one when they're locked in the supermarket and there's a fog outside and monsters and great beasts live out in the fog. It kind of works on that premise. So while you're on the island, you have this last remaining village or little town. Relates to real-life Maine. It's like a shoreline, big fishing county. This is going to play into the side quests and even the weapons and armors you find during this DLC. Everything outside of this town, the island is overtaken by a fog. The deeper you go into this fog, the more bigger and crazier monsters and mysteries awaits you. Besides the Far Harbor community, there is 2 other large factions. You have the Trappers, actually 3. You have the Trappers, which is basically your new mercenaries. You don't really work with them. And then you have the 2 other factions that you do work with, interact, and can get quests through them, being Acadia, which is like a refugee synth warehouse or hideout, and then you have the Children of Adam, who I just for some reason have never liked since I can remember in Fallout. So if you can't figure that out, I made most of my decisions to go against the Children of Adam. By the way, I'm not going to give any spoilers with the story, but as usual, you have these separate factions. It's up to you to pick and choose which ones you want to work with. The main storyline has some very big decisions you're going to have to make. It was very entertaining. If you don't do any of the side quests, it's not very lengthy. If you just picked one faction to, let's say, do their missions for and see it out all the way to the end without doing anything with the other ones, you're going to you're going to blow through the DLC, but in Fallout, no one really plays it that way, so I don't think you got anything to worry about. So it took me probably about 15 hours to complete, 15 to 20 max, to really search the island and do as many side quests as I can, and as many missions for each factions before making my final decision on what faction I wanted to see through to the end. Plenty of NPCs around each area to give out a whole variety of side quests. Your typical Fallout side quests. Some of these side quests are unique, some are exciting. Like I said, I don't want to spoil any, but there is one particular really cool one where you go after a monster called the Red Death that's been terrorizing the fishermen ever since Fallout, or as far back as Fisherman Tales go, and you have to go out and explore it, and I thought that was a really cool mission. And there's plenty to do besides the main quest while on the Far Harbor Island. As for companions, you do get new companions while you're on Far Harbor. Also, I know some people are going to love this, there is a variety of more dog-like companions that you could bring out with you into your exploration as well, which is something I'm a big fan of. There's a salesman out in the wasteland that sells trained animals, different types, from dog to wolf to mutant hound, and you can buy them. I made sure I bought all of them. I'm a big animal lover. Next up, we have the enemy variety. The new mercenary type enemies are the trappers. They have a different look about them. They're cool. I told you everything's kind of fisherman orientated. They have like harpoon guns and use like hooks and grappling looking hook things and new weapons like that. They brought back old school weapons for weapon variety as well. There's some new lever action rifles, like new carbine rifle that's shoots a 45. The harpoon rifle is really cool. I really enjoyed using the harpoon rifle. I suggest you guys use it too. And for any of the melee players out there, there is new types of rippers. Like I said, these new hook weapons, like long ones, short ones, like just like meat hooks. They definitely made out well on the new weapon type. Back to the enemies, as you go into the fog, I'll be honest, I was a little disappointed. I thought it was going to be like the farther into the island I got, the bigger and worse the enemies got. Not really the case. I mean, you do have several new variety types. A lot of them are just like evolved forms of certain types of species we've already seen, like more evolved mirelurks or hermit crabs, all ocean related, but they were cool. There's some spotty random boss fights that you're going to come across, which everyone likes that. You'll get some through missions, side missions, or you can just stumble upon some yourself. They added new legendary weapons and armor. As for the armor is clearly the best armor set that I've come across so far. It's better than the Devastator pieces that you could buy 2 of in the original storyline. It seems that every salesman you find in the new DLC sells 1 individual piece of this armor set, because it all has the same name. I've found maybe 4 out of 5 or 3 out of 5 of the pieces. They're not cheap. They're like 18 to 20,000 caps, depending on what skills you got leveled up and stuff. So be ready for that. Save your caps. Are you going to look like this when you get the new armor set? No, because the new Fallout had an issue with making your character actually look cool and badass. And, it's more or less just another ensemble of pieces of garbage that's taped around your body. And that's basically the armor set you're going to be using in this. Or, obviously, there's the new armor sets that no one's going to use, like the fisherman's outfit, because you get 3 defense in it, or stuff like that. But hey, whatever floats your boat. Some people like to role play. If you want to be a fisherman and use the outfit, be my guest. But I'm going to stick with the armor. That gives me 200 extra damage resistance when I put it on. There are more legendary weapons. When I say legendary weapons, do I mean brand new, awesome looking legendary weapons like these, like this machine from the last Fallout, or the commando, or the hunting shotgun? No, of course not. They are the same weapons that look identical to all the other weapons that you got in Fallout, just with new legendary perks. But the new weapons in the DLC in general, such as the harpoon gun or the new carbine weapon, they do have legendary versions as well that you will come across. And that is one thing that did bug me. I didn't like that you could basically find any stat roll on the legendary weapon in the wild throughout Fallout, and the guns never changed appearance. I miss finding the Golby sniper rifle and having a unique looking weapon that had a unique damage or unique stats compared to all the other weapons in its class. This really ticked me off, and I was hoping it would have got fixed in the first expansion, but that still exists. When you get this legendary shotgun with this crazy, it's called December's Child, you're going to find in a secret area that has a great perk. It's not cheesy and boring like does 5% more damage to ghouls or Mirelurks. Like people are going to carry around a variety of weapons for that. I just don't, it doesn't happen. It's not needed. The perk on this shotgun is that it now shoots 5.56 ammo, reloads 25% faster, and fires 25% faster and reloads 15% faster. Cool name, December's Child, but once again, it looks identical to any other combat shotgun that you customize. Whatever. I don't get it. I'm hoping in the further DLCs or expansions that come out, the weapons will be unique, and I can't just basically level any weapon up to look the same as these legendary weapons. The first thing I did when I installed the DLC was look in the perk chart. I wanted to find something new and similar to the new Vegas perk where you could move all your base stats up to 9 or something new and crazy. At first, I was under the impression it was no new perks because they're not. There's no brand new perks. When I say it's an add-on to the perk, you know how all the perks in the Fallout game has a set of like levels. Like let's say you have the sneak perk and it's 4 stars. The first star is 25% sneak, second is 50%, and then the fourth one will be like 100% sneak and double critical damage. It basically adds an extra star to a couple of the perks. Not many. I actually can't remember offhand how many there are. Some are useful. I believe the one that lets your AP regenerate 75% faster was a new one. That's always useful. There's another one with being over encumbered that you could sprint at half the AP points. Some people, that's not going to be a big deal to at all. To me, I filled that up right away because I just like to take everything and I refuse to drop my stuff. I got to take everything and I enjoy the over-encumbered perks so I could walk back to base and drop my shit off and still move around kind of fast. So this helped me out. And then you have some new perks that I don't even think they thought into. I believe it's on one of the level 10 perks, the one where let's call it the Praise of the Sun perk, where as you're in daylight you regain health, and as you put the stats up you start to get additional base stats like, I don't know, endurance or charisma. They added another one. Like I said, I think it was to that one. Either way, it doesn't matter. The new stat in it is instantly get 30 extra health. 30 extra health, just plus 30. It could have been like 30% or something like that. You know, for the most part, I'd be saving your perks and rearranging it to get some, to give you a little more of a boost with the original perks. So, I mean, everyone plays differently. You look at it and you pick whatever you want to do. By the end of the Far Harbor DLC, I switched around with some save points, so I did get to play through on a couple different factions' ends. Got to see the story from a couple different perspectives, and it's intriguing. You're gonna enjoy yourself. It's gonna be like Fallout, how you want it to be. You're gonna get lost in the environment. You're gonna want to explore it. You're gonna want to keep playing it. This was a feeling that I definitely did not get with the Mechanist DLC, and I'm going to be honest, the time I put into the building DLC is basically, it's non-existent, so I'm actually kind of biased. I barely played it. Other than that, nothing was taken away from the original part of the game. You still could customize all the weapons, customize your armor. There's also farms and areas to clear out on the DLC, so you'll have more towns to build. And speaking of that, the DLC is a separate area from the original part, so you would have to go back and free warp. You'd have to fast travel to the Commonwealth, and then once you're there, fast travel wherever you want in the Commonwealth. You can't just like fast travel from here to a specific Commonwealth area. And I did find it really egregious that about 17 of my original towns in the Commonwealth were getting constantly attacked while I was gone, because who wants to go through all that loading time to go back and keep protecting the town? So I kind of let them all bite the bullet if they couldn't handle themselves. I'm up in Maine, you know, come on. You guys got 20 people on some of these places. You got turrets. I take all this time to build you guys up and give you defense and stuff, and you're going to get in a fight. So, you know, I just can't hop on a boat and fucking go or swim back to Maine whenever it's convenient for you. Alright, I'm sick of it. I must have saved Abernathy Farm 700 times already. Enough's enough, guys. Get with the picture. Figure it out. I'm on vacation. The price was $24.99. Do I think it's worth it for this DLC? Yes, this was a very fun adventure. I enjoyed this expansion. It definitely brought me back into the feeling of the Fallout universe. and they did a good job with it. For the future, I hope coming out, they do something a little more creative with the legendary weapons and the armor sets. I'm sick of looking like a fool the entire game. And even the stat rolls on the legendary weapons. There's new stat rolls that I seen in this DLC that wasn't in the original one. Something like, I believe it wasn't in the original one. A couple of legendary guns I found had a stat that once the last bullet in your mag is feeding into the weapon, time slows down. I don't care. I don't need the time to slow. That's what VATS is for, right? If I want to slow down time, I press left bumper. If I'm running through a clip of my semi-automatic carbine, it's just going to slow down combat when I'm trying to shoot the people. They got to work on those two, in my opinion. I hope they get some more creative stats to put on the weapons and change the appearance of the unique weapons. Like, what's wrong with simply getting a unique weapon that just has a higher damage and faster reload rate than anything else in its class and looks a little different? That's all I'm saying. I don't think it's too much to ask for Bethesda. They could do that, right? That's not a big deal. Honestly, in my opinion, you could skip right over the first two DLCs if you haven't got them. It's definitely, you're not going to lose any sleep over it. You could save the $15 to go spend on the next big expansion when it comes out. And when that happens, I'll let you know how I feel about that DLC. I'm actually going to make a video. There was a bad glitch that I got in this game trying to do a mission where the screen went perfectly dark. I'll try to put it out tomorrow, the next day. I actually had to look up on forums. It happened to quite a lot of people, and there was no videos on how to fix it. I did figure out how to fix it. It's a simple fix. I'm going to post that up if it's troubling anybody as well, so we could look at that tomorrow or the day after. Till then, put anything in the comments below you'd like. Tell me if you liked it. What'd you think about it? Do you agree or disagree with me? What do you think about the piece of shit appearances of the legendary weapons and armor? And give me a like. Give me a subscription. You know, all that good stuff. Tell me I'm an asshole. Tell me you love me. Tell me you hate me. Until next time, have a good one. And Tman out.